up, nation? Hope you're having an awesome Tuesday. My name, of course, is Philip DeFranco, and this is where I talk about news and type stuff and things that matter to me today. And the first thing I have to talk about today is crazy-ass international news because Uganda's parliament speakers said it's very likely they are going to pass the anti-homosexuality bill. If this is the first that you've heard of it, it was introduced in 2009, finally will come to a vote in 2013, and it is what it sounds like. You will be punished. You will be prosecuted for being gay. But the good news is there are two classes of offenses. One, the offense of homosexuality, which you would receive life imprisonment, or two, aggravated homosexuality, in which you would receive the death penalty. To be charged with aggravated homosexuality, you have to be HIV positive or have sex with someone under the age of 18. But that's what mainly the media is talking about. I took a deep dive into it. There are other provisions. For example, if you are a homosexual Ugandan, you go to another country because you're like, I want to have my gay sex, but I want it to be legal. Too bad. If they find out about it, you can be extradited back to your country to face charges. And there are also penalties for individuals, corporations, media groups if they show support for a gay person or know of one. So I guess the main point is, what the frack? I mean, I understand it's Uganda, it's somewhere else, they have a different culture, but this is insanity that not only affects the estimated 500,000 gays in Uganda, but just the entire world. This is just plain up back-asswardness and persecution of a group of people. Then there was this really interesting news that people in several states, the United States of America, have started petitions to secede from the Union. The most notable and kind of expected state was Texas, with 75,000 people signing the petition as of right now. The petition to the Obama administration reads, the U.S. continues to suffer economic difficulties stemming from the federal government's neglect to reform domestic and foreign spending. The citizens of the U.S. suffer from blatant abuses of their rights such as the NDAA, the TSA, etc. Given that the state of Texas maintains a balanced budget and is the 15th largest economy in the world, it is practically feasible for Texas to withdraw from the Union. And to do so would protect its citizens' standard of living and resecure their rights and liberties in accordance to the original ideas and beliefs of our founding fathers, which are no longer being reflected by the federal government. And when I first read the headline, I was like, those crazies. When I read that kind of makes sense, except I really hate when everyone brings up our founding fathers like slave owners. Like, America's history, specifically the founding times, has been she's all that-ified. Like, it was not a pretty situation. Now, as far as is Texas going to secede from the Union, I think there is a 99.9% chance no. Even Governor Perry, good old Rick Perry, was like, nah. Perry's press secretary saying, Governor Perry believes in the greatness of our union and nothing should be done to change it. But what's far more interesting is because they have this petition system, anything that has 25,000 signatures has to be addressed by the Obama administration. And so according to the White House's own rules, they will have to release an official statement that they post on the petitions page. And while I personally won't be signing that petition because I love you, Texas, I just want to give you cuddles, there are a ton of petitions. One that relates to the story we just talked about, and I'll link to it. There are several thousand people petitioning the US government to just take away Uganda aid. Like, this year alone, we'll give them $480 million in aid, and people are like, well, if they're gonna be that kind of country, should we really help them? There's a lot of interesting stuff on the site, and if you are an American, I recommend checking it out. And actually, on the same note of petitions, Donald Trump is in the news, but not because of he did anything Donald Trump-y, but because many people right now recording this video, 475,000 people, have a problem with Trump's sexist behavior, but also his hypocrisy, his climate change denial, his racially charged birtherism, and a myriad of other terrible things he's become infamous for. And the petition urges Macy's to cut all ties with Donald Trump because, you know, he's a big part of Macy's. Whenever they do that, look at all our celebrities commercials, he's a big part of it. And so it'll be very interesting to see if Macy's does this, but I guess the bigger question is, do petitions really change anything? I mean, if you looked at the election, 57 million people petitioned for Barack Obama not to be our president anymore. Now, granted, with the same mindset, 62 million people petitioned for him to be president, but I woke up the next morning and there were not riots in the streets. Nothing really changed. There were a bunch of people that were celebrating and cocky, and a bunch of people that were kind of sad and annoyed at all the people celebrating. Then we have a break from the real news thanks to GQ magazine and Rihanna's body. In the magazine, there's also an interview where she talks about love, her image, and Chris Brown, but I'm over crazy. So if you would like to appreciate the raw sexiness that is Rihanna before she opens her mouth or before Chris Brown adds blue to her color scheme, link to that down below. It happened such a long time ago. Yeah, but so did the Holocaust. Those two are obviously extremes, but time doesn't take away douchebaggery. And then, of course, in video game news, Black Ops 2 came out today, and you know, I can't speak on the single player campaign. SourceFed's doing their own single player review. I just jumped straight into multiplayer. I mean, all first person shooters like this, whether it's Black Ops 2, Battlefield 2, Shoot Gunner 5, it's like a pretty girl. Fun with friends? No, it's nothing like a pretty girl. What I mean is, I don't really care about the story. I just want to go do fun things with it. So I did fun things with it, and I love it. You ever played Black Ops Modern Warfare 2? It's kind of sort of the same thing. But my quickie review, so not to alienate my casual viewers, I loved it. Removal of pro perks? Love it. I don't feel like an asshole when I prestige. The Pick 10 system's awesome. For the few hours I've played the game, I've gone crazy guns or crazy weird perk pistol class, which, you know what? I love launch day for any first-person shooter because you can get away with stupid shit like this.
Woo! How am I 3-0 with a pistol? It's America. I'm powered by freedom and a small handgun. Oh God, regrets.
He's done.
What? What?
And the continued backing away of kill streaks based on kills and moving to score streaks, although they do reset when you die. It's fantastic, and you can chain a lot of them together, but not in a way that it makes you angry like in the old Modern Warfare. You old schoolers know. UAV, airstrike, get helicopter, die, use helicopter. And the negatives, I know for some of you is gonna be hard scoping is a thing. It's not like Battlefield. Personally, I've played both systems. I enjoy both systems for different reasons. Angry children with microphones are still a thing.
Hostile UAV incoming.
I fucking killed you. It even shows I got
Bravo.
the fucking kill. What the hell?
Show your pussy over there, whoever muted me, you can suck a dick.
But can be remedied by a push of a button. And the last side note is I will give you an update on zombie mode tomorrow. I guess the main thing is I enjoyed it. It was well worth the $50 for me. And of course there's the update on Japan's crazy ass copyright enforcement. We talked about it a while ago, but if you don't know, Japan put through a law that if you are caught downloading copyrighted material, you can face up to 2 years in jail and have to pay a fine of up to 2 million yen. So that went through in June, but what is the update? Did they stop piracy? Well yeah, the number of people stealing music has gone down significantly, but so has the sale of legal music. The fact is, you can make that illegal. Like people downloading music, you can make that illegal, but people are just gonna go back to doing what they used to do, letting friends burn CDs. Hey, I have all these songs on this USB drive. Do you know technology exists? It's crazy. And you know, I'm just speaking as Joe Blow, but it looks like throughout history, when you give more people access to something, they will consume, and then some of those people will buy more. When there was music on the radio when I was a kid, I would record that shit with cassette tape. People used to VHS MTV. If you legitimately wanted to stop piracy, you would have to outlaw anything that can record anything. It's not possible, and I don't say that as someone that's been a part of the, like, I want everything free generation. I was there before that. And it really seems like this is just another example of you have to evolve with the system when you try and hold it back so that everything else works to your way, you're just gonna get crushed. But what do I know? I'm just Joe Blow consumer. You are the one in the smoke-filled room with that very, very nice suit. And guys, that's really everything I wanted to talk about today, so 2 things. 1, if you are not 100% filled in, get SourceFed. Today on SourceFed.com, there's a ton of content, including craziness that happened in Vancouver as far as like sick passengers on a plane. A lot of whispers that there was some sort of cover-up. John McAfee, who we talked about yesterday, claiming innocence over the murder. And scientists saying civilization is actually making us stupid. Just a bunch of awesomeness there. And 2, it brings us to our question of the day today, which is, if Texas was to secede from the Union, what do you think would happen next? Would it be good, bad, for who? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Because, you know, all the secession talk really got me thinking, like, if something crazy, terrible happened, I don't necessarily know if, like, it would be every man for himself, these militias would take over, or if it would be states like Texas that rise up. Just kind of interesting stuff to think about. Possibly get pelted in the face with a copy of Black Ops 2. Leave a comment down below, join the conversation, maybe hit the like button, favorite if you really like it. But of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.